So from here we have a women's 3-5 starting match. This is the first round of the women's 3-5 bracket at the Cornerstone Dink and Rally Tournament. This is Tanner Vann coming to you with Elizabeth Roy.
Hey.
And we're going to be doing some commentating. We have Michelle and Tamara on this close court. Michelle is in the sleeveless and Tamara is in the sleeves. Lori Wickstrom is in the red hat, blue shirt, and Mary Beth Billingsley is in the white and orange, playing with the Selkirk Halo. So from here we've got a quick point. I believe that was a point, 1-0-2 maybe. Mary Beth with a nice slice backhand drive right at Michelle. Michelle with a great backhand. Lori, nice reset. Starting some dinks. And Lori just misjudges a ball right on the sideline and says she thought it was going out. We'll listen for the score here. I think we have a quick costume change over here for one of the close players. We'll see what the score is. It sounded like it was 1-0-1. Mary Beth Billingsley, nice return. Drop shot to Lori's backhand, and Lori backs off a little uncomfortably and then tries to drive a backhand. Interesting choice of shot there. I think it might be 2-1-1. I'm not entirely sure. Lori with a long return. Another unforced error there from her. Looks like she's sitting cool as a cucumber. We'll see if she can turn it around here. And a low two-hander. That's a raw push, folks. When you hit a two-handed backhand, make sure you're trying to roll that ball. A raw push like that is going to do very little to help getting the ball over the net. And we've got another unforced error here, Elizabeth, from Lori Wickstrom. I'm not really sure what's going on. She's now missed a backhand return and a forehand return. Are you seeing anything that she's doing?
No, I think it's probably just the kind of first match nerves. She just needs to work them out a little bit. They do have wind coming straight at them on a lot of these points. It's swirling a little bit, but...
Oh, yeah. I didn't even notice that. That's a great call. Right here, we'll see if Lori can turn it around. A great ball from Mary Beth. But if it was in, it had a lot of prejudice on it. If it was out, then it was out. No, that ball was in. She called it in. A great shot from Lori Wickstrom there. You know, the other fun fact about this is when you look at these players, a lot of these players are used to playing indoors, and that is going to create quite a problem for a couple of these players when they move to outside and they have elements to deal with. Elizabeth, it's not easy. That's part of the problem.
Yeah, it's cold, windy today, lots of moisture in the air. Changes the way that the ball bounces and flies. It's hard to read, especially throwing them up like this.
Yeah, that's a great call. I mean, that right there is really aggressive from all four players. Wow, what a rally here.
Great point.
That's well played by all four. You know, even in great points and great rallies, somebody's got to win it, somebody's got to lose it. And Lori Wickstrom and Mary Beth Billingsley come out on top of that one. That's a great shouted out call from MB. Lori had no question about that. That ball was out. It sounded like the score was 5-2-2. I'm not entirely sure here.
Sounds like a little bit of a miscommunication there.
Yeah, and Elizabeth, that's been the name of the game today is miscommunications with people. You know, when it's not your usual partner or it's something a little different than what you're used to. I mean, the shots come differently, people make different choices, and the game rhythm gets thrown off a little bit. So the more communication with a new partner and the better.
We also have, this is, to my knowledge, one of the first outdoor tournaments that this season. So everybody's getting back into the swing of things. First tournament's always a little bit rough.
Yeah, rough is the good word for it, because I mean a lot of people are coming from that indoor to outdoor. They're not adjusting to the elements, and then all of a sudden you've got people trying to play pickleball and with partners they don't know and people they don't know and elements they don't know, and it turns into a whole, I'm gonna reuse your word, just rough show. And what a slap shot from Mary Beth Billingsley. There is zero topspin on that ball. That is as flat as can be, just right over the net. And unfortunately, not able to handle the pace was Michelle on this side of the net. But you know what? This is why I always like to call them sleeper teams. But it's the team that comes out. Maybe they don't even have court shoes. Maybe they're wearing khaki shorts or something. Maybe they hit a ball in an unorthodox way. You can't go to sleep on those people just because it doesn't look like you hitting a pickleball. So I mean, some of these shots, some of these teams that we're seeing today, I mean, you're seeing an unorthodox ball, an unorthodox style, and yet it comes back. So you can't really chalk anybody out of a point just yet. Like right there, that was the most ridiculous inside out backhand forehand I've ever seen right here from Michelle. That was crazy. And what a finish here from Tamara with the two-handed backhand coming cross court. Lori picked it up, but then there's too much power on that finisher for MB to hit back.
Ooh, right at the feet. Inside foot's always a great place to aim.
Yeah, and inside foot is just a problem to pick up because you don't know whether to hit it with a forehand or a backhand, lift it, pop it, drop it, hit it hard. You don't really know. Everything is just kind of up there. And that's why when we talk about that two-handed backhand, you can't shove it. You can't push it. You've actually got to lift it and roll it. That's the only way that ball's going to get over in terms of a drop shot. And here we've got a return just absolutely skied by Michelle. She's going to be disappointed with that one. We'll see if Tamara can make up for it here. A nice two-handed return there. Oh, and Michelle is coming back,
nice
swinging. Great ball from Mary Beth Billingsley there. That's a tough ball to handle. I mean, Elizabeth, I don't know about you, but the low drive is one of the hardest shots to volley correctly back.
Yeah.
Because you can pop it up. You can do so much wrong with it, and there's really only one thing to do right with it, and that's put it down at somebody's feet. Ooh. And there we just have a full wind-up swing and another costume change for Tamara.
Things are heating up. We like that.
You can say that twice. It's a cold day out here in Littleton, Colorado, and this lady is just dropping layers like it's going out of style. You know, Elizabeth, have you noticed a trend at all in some of these 3-5, 4-0, maybe even a little 4-5, that people are going back to the lob serve a little bit?
I haven't really noticed myself, but I definitely feel that's one of the classic serves that I've noticed when I was starting to play and just kind of getting into it. It's used pretty heavily, I think, in that range.
Yeah, I mean, that lob serve seems to be making a reappearance here today. But you know what is going to dictate the outcome of this match is who misses more returns. Right now, I believe it's 3-3 or even 4-4 right now. There have been a number of missed returns in this match, and that really can't happen when you are playing a tournament. Rec play, you understand that when you miss a return, you go ahead and fix it. You fix your mechanics. But in a tournament, if you miss one, you're going to get tighter and tighter, and you're going to miss more.
Yeah, definitely gets in your head, and I know lots of people that's their advice to themselves in a tournament is serves in, returns in, but sometimes when you miss one, start focusing a little too heavily on it and can unravel from there.
Yes, it can. I agree with you there. And right now, it sure seems like Mary Beth Billingsley is relying a lot on that slapping forehand drive. And unfortunately, she is setting her partner Lori up for just a very difficult drop because her drives are just not good enough. And right there, we have a very, very unforced forehand error from what looks like Tamara. 9-7-2 here. We're getting close to the end of this one, and that is going to put it at game point. 10-7-2 for Mary Beth Billingsley, serving to Tamara. Michelle can only sit and watch and hope that this ball goes in. Nice, and there's that drive again. Sometimes it's really good, and sometimes it just gets buried in the net. I think that we might want to revert back to a drop shot for that one.
Just as a side note, what's your take on high risk, high reward shots? If you know when it hits, it's usually a winner, or at least forces a pop up, gets you a better ball, versus, playing more conservatively in a tournament.
I think that's a great question, and I'm gonna answer it here in a hot second. I want to see if Michelle and Tamara can rattle off some points here. Doesn't look like it, but you never know. Great dig there. Excellent dig from Tamara. I really almost pulled forward that point because that was a great dig. But we're gonna revisit high risk, high reward here during this timeout. And I believe we're ending it at 10-7-1 here, and Mary Beth Billingsley is going to be serving to Tamara. So when we talk about high risk, high reward shots, Elizabeth, I would argue that it's actually more of what the score is in the game. Mm-hmm. Instead of looking at the opponents or looking at the drop shot I want to hit, or the drive I want to hit, or the lob I want to hit, I would actually study the score, because if it's a really close score, you want to play conservatively because you don't want to give up that easy mistake. Like right there, you want to talk about high risk, high reward. That is an incredibly high risk shot that barely paid off right there, because if that ball is not played, that is a point lost. And Lori just threw up a lob 60 feet in the air, and it barely landed in. So that's high risk, high reward. But when you're up 3 points at the end of a game, I think you can afford to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, and it looks like that is it. That is the end of game one. So from right here, we'll have to roll straight into game two here. All right, folks, we're back for game two here. Mary Beth Billingsley and Lori Wickstrom win game one, 11-7. Tamara and Michelle were doing a great job of extending the points, but they were playing a whole lot of defense. And if they really want to flip the script and take game two away, they need to take their foot off the defense pedal and turn that into offense, or else this is going to be a pretty quick game two. And Lori Wickstrom gets baited into launching a backhand right up the sideline, and that is a tough shot, even at the pro level, to hit in. So the fact that she went for it, props to her, but at the same time, tough shot. Little miscommunication, paddle clap in the middle. And Elizabeth, I wanted to ask you a question here. What is the most effective way to communicate with your partner on the court? Do you like phrases and sentences? Do you like unspoken words and looks, or do you like the brief words?
It just depends on the partner. Like with my mixed partner Dan, we know each other's game so well that I just kind of take a little step to the side and he knows to fill that gap. So, but we've played tons together, so know each other's tendencies. But whenever I'm playing with someone new, I always like to give a little debrief before, like, hey, play the aggressive middle, meaning just take more balls if you're on the forehand side, or just communicate like what you're comfortable with. And then I like the shout out you if you can, but sometimes you just don't have the time.
Yeah, we might want to explore playing together then, because I prefer the bark calls, or if you will, the Newman calls, where it is out or in or watch, and it is one word, and it is shouted louder than you would scream at a 4th of July party. So with that being said, I mean, we might make good partners eventually, and that is based on how we communicate. So right here, the communication piece is huge. And right now, it just looks like both teams are struggling a little bit with that communication in the middle. Right now, 0-2-1. Tamara and Michelle are up on this. That is an incredibly good shot there from Lori. She's running full speed in and still hits a forehand drive in. Impressive shot, and Tamara just does not know how to handle it. So we've got 1-2, and I believe MB is a 1. And there's that drive again. That's that flat drive that when it goes over, it's great. And when it does not go over, it's a tough day at the office.
I mean, it could be ball selection. You know, there's definitely a ball to drive and a ball to drop. And sometimes it's hard to, when you have it in your mind that you want to drive this third, to adjust and drop last minute, just knowing that it's a tough ball to drive, or vice versa.
That's a really good point. Sometimes we as pickleball players, we put on those horse blinders, and if we think drive, we commit to that drive, even if it's the wrong shot. Oh, great athleticism from Lori Wittstrom at that point, but she does take that high forehand and does put it into the fence.
I think a couple out balls were maybe hit that game, but with the wind, you just never know. Sometimes it's better to swing if it might be close too.
Yeah, I mean, what you never want to do is have a chance at a good ball, don't swing and it lands in, or swing and hit it in and maybe you hit an out ball. I would much rather hit it in and not have it be a straight up winner. Ooh, a very, very rare unforced error serve here from Tamara on the other side. Just pushed that ball about a foot wide. Not really sure what happened on that one, but we'll see if she can bounce back pretty quick. An outstanding lob from Mary Beth Billingsley. Wow, just sets Lori up for an absolute pancake forehand. She's gonna go eat that thing in Breezeville, Easyville, and at Waffle House later. You know, I'm going to give mad props to Mary Beth Billingsley right there. 1, because this is a 3-5 bracket. 2, she just stood in the middle of the court and hit a mid-court drop twice. You don't see that at 3-5. You especially don't really see that much in localized tournaments, but that was a pro move right there. She stops at mid-court. She tries her best to soften the ball right here. Here it is again. She's not at the kitchen line, but she is just focusing on soft. Ooh, and there she gets caught by an out ball, and she knows it. The exclamation she had there just signifies that she knew that ball was out, but just could not get out of the way.
Yeah, the hands battles and the quickness has been great on both sides, so maybe she had a thought to try to slow it down a little bit, see if they can take this game fast.
I guess we'll see if she tries that same kind of style. We'll see if Mary Beth Billingsley and Lori Wittstrom try and slow the game down. Because right now the hands battles are 50-50. Both teams are winning some, losing some. We'll see who decides to slow it down or keep it fast, and we'll see the outcome of the game.
Some nice defense on the overheads there.
Yeah, that's a great defensive dig twice in a row. But you know what? I actually want to ask another question here, Elizabeth. Do you struggle more with the faster ball at your feet or the slower ball that bounces into your feet?
Oh, I mean, the faster ones are definitely easier. You can just kind of bounce them off your paddle, short hop them, and a lot of times they'll get back over. But that ball that comes, that I think what she just experienced too, that you finally get a ball that you can try to drop and reset, and then those are always the hardest.
Yeah.
Once you get out of that, like, trenches.
Yeah, I like to think of it in terms of war, honestly, where if you're hitting a third shot drop and it's a little too high and you're trying to move into the kitchen line or the NVZ or non-volley zone for those of you that have never played, sometimes that World War I dig yourself into a trench and just work out the problem is what you have to do. And then sometimes you can just do it exactly how it was just demonstrated there, where Mary Beth Billingsley stopped twice in the middle of the court and just chose another drop over another drive. That is an excellent play, and all she did was think. And that brings us to the next thing. Do you see a lot of thinking at 3-5? You know, regardless whether it's women's doubles, men's doubles, or mixed doubles, do you see a lot of thinking in the game?
You know, it's definitely more reactionary because you're getting to feel it out a little bit, but I'd say some generalized, maybe not shots in advance. Try to listen for the score here, see where they're at.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what the score is, but those are the shots you don't want to miss.
5-4. All right, let's see.
Right here, folks, we've got a score of 5-4-1. Now we're up to 5-4-2. Mary Beth Billingsley and Lori Wittstrom with the lead. Tamara and Michelle 1 point behind, clinging on those heels. Right here, we're back to that drive game, and we'll see. There's the slowdown. Now we'll see if it pays off.
She seems to be hitting it cross court at the backhand a lot too. Wow. Great finish.
Just some great hands right there. And folks, if you're at home, Google and YouTube Maria Sharapova, and if you grunt, you hit the ball harder, as demonstrated in that point. Not sure if you could hear it in the stream, but Tamara over there is throwing out some yells while she's hitting that two-handed backhand. And here we have another unforced error from Lori Wittstrom just on that return of serve. Very interesting fact that she's missing these easy returns. I mean, no ball in pickleball is truly ever easy. A lot of things are repetition based. So if you hit it enough, it becomes easy. But I mean, just missing a serve return, all that ball needs to do is go in. And that's the surprising piece is. Now we see it. Couple of dinks, really easy mistakes over there on the side of Michelle and Tamara. We got some animation on the court behind us, so if you hear some yelling in a match that's not this one, it's probably that one. An interesting take from Lori right there through the middle. It really paid off. High risk, high reward. But you know what? Great coverage and then great shot right up the sideline. That's an excellent ball.
Nice.
I mean,
power.
just Tamara. The more she yells and grunts, the harder that pickleball comes back, folks. Holy smokes, she is grunting and yelling out there.
Oh, good get off the net there.
See, Elizabeth, I don't know about you, but this has always annoyed me, is when teams start yelling out before the ball is actually landed. You don't know if the ball is going to be in or out. You have no idea. So at that point, I really think that Michelle and Tamara might have been able to call some sort of hindrance on that ball, because those calls, if that ball was in, then how do you know whether to play it or not?
Right.
That's a whole lot of communication, and now we've got a little ball discrepancy. But
so what do you like to say instead? Do you tell your partner to watch it, or?
I mean, it's always wait for it to bounce to make a call, because you can't call it in the air. unless, of course, it's a million miles an hour. You're standing at the baseline and it goes past your eyeball, in which case you can always call that ball out. But here we've got a small score discrepancy here. Not sure which one it is.
Trying to work this out. Yeah, like 662 is what they've decided on here, which great dig.
The fun part here, Elizabeth, about commentating is I do know the score, so if anybody has a question about the score, I'll usually go walk over and offer to help.
Yeah.
But from here, it looks like we have a little wide return, or maybe the serve was long. I'm not entirely sure. These windscreens do not help the fences. And here now I'm really gonna wonder if Michelle and Tamara start coming back with some out calls of their own. A pretty tight call here on the baseline this way. And you can see Tamara right there and Michelle play a very safe return, so it's not even close to the baseline. That's tough, you know. One of the hardest things to be able to do in a game is call the right ball in, the right ball out. And sometimes you make a mistake. Sometimes you see it in, sometimes you see it out. But right there, I'm just kind of wondering what the response is going to be for Michelle and Tamara for some of these tighter out calls.
Yeah, tension seemed a little bit higher in the last couple.
Now we've got 8-7-1, now 8-7-2. Here. Michelle and Tamara are up. Mary Beth and Lori won game one. Oof, and there's an unforced forehand mistake there. I bet Tamara wanted that ball back. That's a high forehand. That's a rough one to miss. And a little long again. An unforced error here from Michelle. 8-8-1. Lori Wickstrom serving. A great reset there from Lori. A great shot there from Mary Beth. A nice pull, and that is well structured there. Some excellent drops by Mary Beth Billingsley, and Lori is just waiting there for the forehand finish. And that right there is why you want to call the ball early.
Oh.
That is a hell of a return by Michelle. That is an incredibly hard rip, and that is a great cut drop by Michelle on that side of the net. I mean, that thing did not bounce, and that Mary Beth had a long way to run to dig that ball out.
Yeah, they're doing everything they can to take this to a game 3. See if they can pull it off.
And you hear an exclamation of yes when your opponent puts the ball right into the tape. That's going to do one of two things to a team. That's going to fire them up, or it's going to make them shut down. We'll see which one it did. That fired them up. That's a great high drive by Tamara. Mary Beth, just cannot handle the pace with her backhand.
It's tough to adjust your paddle to block that. It's kind of towards her right shoulder, which classic tough spot.
You know, one of my pet peeves that I'm really understanding is a pet peeve right now is when your opponent hits a shot and then they call it in when you are still questioning your shot. That would be very frustrating to me. That's great eye by Lori Wickstrom, letting that ball go. We've got 10-9-1 game point here of round one, and match point too. What a response from Michelle, keeping her team in it. A great response there. And Elizabeth, this is what I see most common below the pro level, is people get to that point 10 and then they just start slapping shots hoping for a miracle.
Yeah, that's you know, especially with this close point, like they're right on their heels. You got to play tight. Don't take that. Goes back to the high risk, high reward shot conversation. Is in this moment, what do you do?
Right there, I'm not really sure if that was out of frustration or if that was trying to get rid of that ball, but that ball was called out very early, and Lori Wickstrom just rips a forehand into the fence. Not really sure why. Kind of looked like frustration with herself, but it's 10-10, and this is sudden death here. The two, they're going to just play win by one, so I guess we'll see. That's a great two-hander there from Tamara. Just driving it right up the middle, and there is no answer for Michelle and Lori. Mary Beth and Lori, I'm sorry.
And the 4-0 men's doubles just wrapped up. Please give it up for your winners, Frenzel and Tanner. Frenzel and Tanner just won the men's 4-0 doubles.
And right there, in this 3-5 match, we are now 2 game points over to Michelle and Tamara. Remember, this is win by one, so this is going to get really tight really quick. 10-10-1 here. And that is the end of game 2. Michelle and Tamara take that one, and we're on to a game 3 here, folks.